All right, YouTube, what's up? Good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. It's about 6:40 in the morning, and we're gonna go for video number 2. Now, again, if you didn't watch yesterday's video about pricing, I really suggest that you do that. I'll try to leave a card or an end screen. Go check that out. If you guys want to like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. Awesome. Thank you. For real. Love you. Appreciate the support. I haven't made a video asking for like, comment, subscribe other than the first 1,000 videos. And I stopped doing that about 2-3 years ago because we had 100,000 subs on the channel. I never even thought we would get that far. I knew, but I also didn't know. Anyway, we got that far, and now I'm just making videos that I enjoy, hopefully helping the next guy out. What I want to talk about today's video is, you know, like there's a lot of video titles you could put on this, like the blind leading the blind, or people don't know what they're talking about, or, you know, all that kind of stuff. Here's the deal. I'm not here to throw anybody under the bus. I'm not here to call anybody out. I'm not here to step on anybody's toes. But we do have to address a couple different things today about people teaching people to run businesses that maybe have not done it or haven't gotten there yet, and really a lot of bad information that's been out there in the marketplace. I'm not the arbiter of truth. I do not have it all figured out. Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. Little backstory. 18 years, 19 years doing this thing. First 10, 12, 13 years, not the most illustrious start. Single guy, cutting grass, making tall grass short, $20 cuts, the low ball chuck in the truck. I have such empathy, such care for that guy because that was me for the longest time. I didn't know what I didn't know. I was like, dude, you make tall grass short. I got a truck, I got a trailer. You got a truck, you got a trailer. You're Yellowstone, I'm Brian's Lawn Maintenance. We're the same people. Bold statement, right? And then somewhere along the way, met a girl, got engaged. Same time, right about the same time, met a friend, Mike Bedell. A lot of you guys know Mike. Mike's an awesome dude. Mike will go down as a legend because I say so. Mike's helped hundreds, if not thousands of people in this industry. But Mike's helped me. And last year, I think we had 150 million views on my channel. Because of Mike Bedell, I can feel more confident saying that because of him having his fingerprints on me and my business, I can confidently say Bedell helped 150 million people. I helped 150 million people. Even if it was just watching a stupid reel of a plow hitting a manhole cover and snapping back and showing the difference of an F14 versus maybe a different plow. All these little micro helps, all these little micro improvements, I'm gonna credit to that guy for a long time. I dedicated my first book to my wife, my kids, and Bedell. A lot has changed in the last 5, 6, 7 years here at Brian's Lawn Maintenance. Now, we have a little Mickey Mouse company, right? We're still trying to grow just like you guys. I admire and aspire to grow the big companies like the Perfect Cuts and the TCLAs and Josh Gomez, you know, with the East Coast, and just all these big, beautiful businesses. And by the way, every business along the way is a great business. If you're doing 250 grand and you're providing for your family, you built a great business. You're doing 550,000 bucks, 10% net, and you're paying yourself a 60 grand salary, you're making 110 take home. Proud of you, great business. You're doing 3 million, 34 guys, you're running around with chickens with your head cut off. Great job, proud of you. You built a great business. Every single one of you listening today have built a great business. I don't care how your business is doing. I don't care if it's profitable or not profitable, this or that, you're trying. And if you're trying and you're engaged and you're in the mode, today's video will help you. But I'm proud of you. Let's just really quickly, like when's the last time you watched a video where somebody just said, hey, you're actually doing a good job? Like give yourself some credit. I'm proud of you, for real. And I know it doesn't matter where you're at, how bad or good it is, because it can get better, because that was my story. Doesn't matter how good or bad it's been, and we've had ups and downs like all of you, I'm sure. Our business continues to get better. Why? Because we're trying. We're trying to be better. We're trying to learn, okay? If you're on that journey, kudos to you. Number one. Number two, let's get into some stuff I want to talk about today. I don't have any points in terms of like getchas or gotchas. I'm not trying to be mean, rude. I'm not trying to throw elbows, throw shoulders. I'm not trying to point anything out, call anybody out. Nothing like that. We're just going to take a big, deep breath, everybody watching today, and just chill out for a second. So many great people make content for so many different reasons. I commend and admire and all those guys that inspire me. They're awesome. They're all awesome. Hate them, love them, your type of content or not, what my type of content or not, whether I've watched them or not, whether I know them or not. Proud of you for making content. It's hard. It's really, really hard. That being said, there's some stuff we have to get into for a quick minute. Not everybody you watch is all created equal. Not in terms of like them being a valuable human being, I'm talking about like the content and the thought process that's behind it. I learned some stuff along the way last 12, 18 months. It's been a lobotomy. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. And I've talked about this dude a lot, and I'm trying not to be just such a rider for him, but I'm just telling you, like, what a breath of fresh air. If there's two big, giant, pivotal moments in my business development and career, the first one was Bedell, the second one was Mark Bradley. Period, case closed. That guy means the world to me right now, and will for a long time. I don't care if he went stupid tomorrow, I would still say that guy changed my business, and I'll name my fourth kid after him. I'm not going to, my wife would kill me, but you know what I'm saying. About 18 months ago, I got to really hang out with Mark Bradley in person, one-on-one at a dinner. It was me, him, another couple, Kayla and Brittany, a lot of you guys know them, the Almonds, and a lot of my life changed that day. I had knew Mark casually for about 3 or so years. He came to speak at LAL, rocked the stage, fist bumps, shake hands, awesome, thank you so much. Our people love you. I've heard of you. I don't even know who you are, bro, but you're an industry legend, industry icon. Guy grew a $50 million business. People are like, that's Canadian. I go, okay, well, his business is still doing 100x anybody else that's watching my videos, or 1,000x. I've had big fish. You can go, well, that's Canadian. I go, well, it's still 3, 4, 5x your size company. But then again, you know, who cares? It is what it is. That guy grew a successful business, not only top line revenue, but revenue per hour and what he was paying his frontline workers. He had guys making $100,000, $200,000 a year as crew leads. Even if it was Canadian, $60,000, $80,000, $100,000, $200,000 a year, American and US. Pretty good. Anybody doing that? I don't know anybody just yet doing that. Maybe one or two, not a lot. So I meet this guy at my conference, LAL. Bring him in, fist bump, high five, try to give him a stipend, he won't take it. I'm like, jerk, take my money, right? Didn't know how successful this guy really was. Donated all the hot pink, donated all the hot pink, donated all the hot pink. Comes back another year, same thing, and I go, you know, like, I've heard of this guy, but I wasn't in that season or that phase of my business trying to grow a successful company. I was very happy staying small and keeping it all. Staying small and keeping it all. My vision was like this big, dude. My income was starting to grow from Brian's Lawn Maintenance. I was in the field, we kept a lot of the profit. Social media started to pay a little bit. The first 4 or 5 years, I've been super candid. Like, we've made some money with social media the last couple of years, but my first 4 or 5 years, I paid to do it. Like, legit, I paid to do it. For 4 or 5 years, tens and tens of thousands of dollars. Both incomes came together. My wife's were dinks, so dual income, no kids, put a lot of money in the bank. And about 2 years ago, we decided to build our house in this barn. We had some cash, things were good. I had all my goals. I was like, dude, life is good. Life is great. Like, this has been a cluster of the last 8, 9, 10 years of growing up, but we did it. And then you get your goals accomplished and you go, well, I've known, hey, you got to reset the goal. I'll look around, I'm like, material wise, I'm actually not a big material guy. And somebody said that once, like, yeah, it's nice to say you're not materialistic when you have the house, the cars, the whatever. I'm like, yeah, fair point. But believe it or not, most people tell you this, and you guys will realize this if you haven't already, the material things don't keep you going. Like, you might want a watch or a car or a Lambo, like, that's cool, but it doesn't keep you going. It doesn't keep me going, I'll tell you that. We get to this height about 2 years ago, breakdown of the home. I'm like, dude, this is awesome, but I knew we got to reset the goal or we'll coast. And if things coast in nature, what do? You can only coast one way, downhill. So things die. Nature dies if it's coasting. It's only ripe for a couple days and then it dies. It spoils or goes rotten. So I said, well, we got to reset the goal. What else can my wife and I do together that would help us to stay engaged in life? I said, well, I'm kind of feeling the itch to grow a bigger business. She goes, yeah? I go, yeah. Like, all these guys have these huge, great businesses. They're, like, no really better than any of us. They're just regular people. They put their pants on by one leg at a time, that whole deal. I think Corey Ballard probably jumps into his because he's a fireball. But I said, like, they're all just regular freaking people. So let's maybe grow a bigger business. I said, it's either gonna be like the spectacular, we did it, American dream story, or we're gonna be a big fireball explosion of a firework that like blows up at its base, right, and goes nowhere. I said, one of the two, at least we'll document it, and it is what it is, right? So I said, let's grow a bigger business. And that put me on a journey. That I'm gonna talk about today. One second, let me make sure that the video is still recording because I don't wanna have to do this twice. All right. So that put me on a journey of really getting around a lot of great people. Got me around these shop tours, these big fishes, and they say stuff, and then I would learn, and then I would say stuff, and they go, no, like not so much. And I go, yeah, that's stupid thought process. Who would do that? And I'm like, note to self, they do it different here. Why are they doing it different? How are they doing it different? Who are they doing it different for? All of that kind of stuff. So what I had learned along the way from Mark, going to his Element masterminds over last fall, winter. Now he sold Element last year, got a bag. Great for him. And then he's starting his Leanscaper endeavor, which isn't crazy. I've been to 3 of their intensives. Holy Jesus. I've learned more in those 3 2-day, 3-day conferences than I learned in the last 5, 10, 15 years of my business. I'm like, where's this guy been, right? It's one of those deals. I start hanging out with Mark Bradley all last fall, all last winter. I paid about $11,000 to go to all of these masterminds. We presented as Branded Bull, my brother's website business. I have a small stake in that, but we paid to play. We went there. Mark, it wasn't like, hey, I'm paying your way, nothing like that. We went to 5 out of the 6 of them all across the country. And outside of hanging out with all of you, I got to hang out with Mark Bradley for an additional 100 to 200 hours on the road. I even got to drive back to the airport with him in just a Turo. It was awesome, or an Uber. It is kind of awesome until you realize, holy freaking cow, I've just hung around like a nuclear bomb of thought process here that just eviscerated almost everything I am, who I am, what I say, what I do, everything. So when I say I put Humpty Dumpty back together about every 6 months because of these big leaders, they do. They look at my business and go, and your business explodes. And I'm like, this is great. Proof of concept, proof of concept, proof of concept, explode, proof of concept, explode, proof of concept, explode. Okay, I think we got something now, right? One of those deals. Well, one of the thought processes, and I say all that to say this, one of the thought processes that I learned was that there's a lot of differences as a business and as a leader between 1s and 3s, and 3s and 1s. And that's Mark Bradley saying this. And I'm like, ooh, tell me more. I'd love to hear about this. I love leadership. I've read all the books. Like, tell me more, brother. Well, he said, hey, there's a lot of difference between 0 to 100K, 100K to 300K, 300K to 1 mil, and then there's 1 to 3, 3 to 10, 10 to 30, 30 to 100. Now, as you can imagine, haven't got to that side of the equation. I wrote these bigger. We're gonna focus on some thought process here today. If you guys like this video by the time it's done, hit a big thumbs up. I'm sweating bullets, hopefully trying to get this out to you guys in a very concrete package. Let me make sure the video's still recording. There's no rush on this video. I figure if you guys can watch an hour episode of Fallout, you can watch an episode of Growing Your Own Business and learning how to actually make money for your family. Here's where we're at. So here was me, dude, for freaking 12 years. I learned some thought process from Mike Bedell. It took me, dude, I think the next year we hit 6 figures. I was doing like 70 grand forever. Hung out with Bedell, we did like 170, then we did like 220, then we did like 3 something, then it was 429 last year. Right now we're on a run rate of 550. Our projections are $1 million. On a rolling 12 here forward, we'll be at $1 million. Cool, like, actually not too bad. What changed in the last 18 to 24 months? Thought process, who I'm listening to. So I meet Mike Bedell and then I meet another MB. Maybe those initials mean something, I don't know. Mike Bedell, Mark Bradley, right? And to have these two dudes, okay, there's a world of difference between what they've both done. But to me, what they've done for me is about the same in terms of blowing my freaking mind. So I get to 100K to 300K and I'm like, yeah, like this is great. Then the world ends because I take my business from 300K to $1 million right now and I'm like, nothing's working, we gotta fix everything. A lot of exposing what's wrong, okay? So here's the deal. When you're watching content creators, and this is no indictment, no slate, no dig, no nothing. Almost all of them are between this timeline, this perspective, this revenue goal, this thought process, this vision, this understanding, if they even understand what they're promoting or talking about. But this is where most of them are at. You might have 1 or 2 guys here, maybe 1 or 2 guys here putting out content. There's a couple good guys that put out content. No doubt about it. No indictment, no slate. There's a lot of people that put out great content. But in terms of like revenue size, they're all about here. 1 or 2 guys maybe here. And almost exclusively 0 over here. Now, I gotta slow down because I really want to make sure that this all comes out correctly. I, for the longest time, was here putting out content, making YouTube videos, 1,100, 1,200 YouTube videos, loved it, loved every minute of it, still love making videos. I never tried to talk higher than I was, and most people don't. Like, to be fair to my content creator friends, most people don't talk about what they haven't done. But this right here, it's really easy to think that if you've done anything between 100 to 300K, that you're smart, that you're awesome, that you got it licked, that you got it figured out. You're like, dude, I built a great business. I built a great crew. And you have, and that's awesome. But as I said on the previous pricing video yesterday, you are just a big fish in a small pond. Like, what you think works here kind of does work when you're small owner operator, or small, it's you and a guy, you and two people. But it may or may not work as you go this far. And so I'm gonna break this down a little bit more. We're gonna get into a little bit more granular. Let me make sure that the video's still recording, doing the whole deal. Okay. When you're here and here, you're like, dude, I'm an owner. NAR. I create and keep the profit. You're probably not even on salary. You're just like, dude, I'm an owner business and I keep the profit. Last year I made $80,000. That means I know what I'm talking about. Maybe, I don't know. But you think because you made 80 to 100 grand, you know what you're talking about. So it gives you authority to have conviction to convince a bunch of people to like, comment, subscribe, buy your shit, all this kind of stuff, right? Like, sure, okay, rock and roll. Like, that was me for a very long time. So I'm not indicting anybody. I was part of the same mill and part of the same thought process. When you now try to grow a real, I say more real, work with me here, a real business, and you go to 300 grand to $1 million, if you take this thought process, TP, into this, you will, as I've realized, you will absolutely hamstring your business and maybe implode and or maybe torpedo what you are building. What used to work here doesn't work here. And so there's this interesting evolution as my audience has graduated to here. Almost all of you guys listening in have built businesses now doing 300 to $1 million. Some of you guys doing 1 to 3, 1 to 2, you guys outliers doing, 3 million plus already. It's awesome. Along the way, a lot of folks have not changed. A lot of folks have not improved their thought process. A lot of folks have not changed their messaging. They still make videos about CRMs. They still think route density is life, and it is, it's helpful, but I couldn't care less at this point if I have my pricing right. Route density, marketing, okay, like you guys have seen all the videos, same thing. And I'm not calling anybody out or calling anything out. It's totally fine. But dude, this right here, if you have 80 residential customers, 4 commercial sites, you're tapped out, you're capped out. And then you start talking about these things, like you're not necessarily engaged as somebody who is at 300 or 550, going to $1 million. You absolutely need to do what works to make more revenue come in, because until sales are made, it's just theory. This right here, like, yes, it's best practices. Yes, it'll help you. Yes, it'll solidify a small business. But this right here, talking exclusively about this here, will not move the needle forward. Well, you got to market yard signs, postcards, door hangers, and build a good website. Not bad. How about crafting a message that pulls, not just pushes? How about creating customers that don't just you market to, but they choose you? How about creating a brand that's known for something that customer resonates with, because you have an ideal customer profile, you know what that person's thinking, so when they go to your website, they're reading exactly what their brain has been taught to look for, and they go, yes, this is our guy. How do you make somebody know, think, and feel that that is their guy? So when you walk in, you're not selling, you're just advising, you're signing some papers, and you walk into a $20, $30, $50, $80, $100,000 account. Wildly different thought process here forward than this area right here. And here's my thing, all content creators are around here. It's not bad, it's not an indictment, but just because you made 80 grand or have a decent proof of concept, kinda, doesn't mean that it's great or accurate thought process, because I can now be here and go, oh my God, I didn't know what I was talking about to a degree over there. Now, over here, what are you looking to do at this level of business? Practically speaking, you're trying, I have another book coming out, 100K to 300K. You're looking to maximize efficiencies. You're starting to learn people. You're starting to start documenting things, SOPs. You're starting to build systems and processes a little bit here and get a little bit of a proof of concept to then take that building block to here. Now, let me make sure the video's still recording. Forgive me. All right, we're still good. Here's the deal. So a lot of folks are like, hey, I don't want to go to Leanscaper, LAL, LMN events because all those guys have 10, 20, 30, $1 million businesses or big companies. That doesn't apply to me at 300 grand to $1 million or, smaller business. No, dude, listen. Maybe somebody has explained this to you, maybe somebody hasn't. Here's how I finally realized. This guy right here, they don't have a $10 million business. They have 10 $1 million businesses, right? And that might be 15 500 grand mow crews and 3 $1 million landscape crews. And so the reason people are like, oh, the shop tours, yeah, I'll never have a facility that I do in the spring and the fall. They're like, shop tours, yeah, they're just not for me. And I go, what part of this guy having 15, 18, 20 crews go out can't help you optimize and streamline your single operation? Okay, maybe you don't have on-site fuel and an ice maker, but you can absolutely make sure that your business runs as lean as possible with your 1 or 2 crews, as these guys have mastered a proof of concept, the $10 million guys and above typically, with 3, 5, 10, well not 3, but 5, 10, 15, 20 plus crews, 50 crews, 100 crews. But people say, well, I don't want the shop tours, I don't want to go to LAL, and I don't want to go to Leanscaper because it's for people doing 10, 15, 20 million. Not the case at all. It's for everybody between about 300 grand going to about 10 million. The guys 10, 15 million, 20 million, they don't have it all figured out. They have a lot to learn. They'll tell you that too. But they have a proof of concept. I've got some things written down I'm going to get into in a quick second, but another interesting conversation. Why are so many people, the 0 is for people creating content, by the way. Why do you find more guys now speaking on stage and doing the deal? Why do you find more guys speaking on stage and doing the deal at these big conferences, 10, 30, 100 million? Well, because they built a business. Like, they don't have to be there day to day. They do have a proof of concept. But why do you not find as many guys between, I'd say really about 3 million to 10 million? Why do you see all of those guys at conferences, peer groups? Let's do that real quick. You got, link is for like everybody here, okay? L-I-N-K, that's our private Facebook group. And as I continue to hit higher revenue, it'll take you all the way to the moon, right? Wherever I'm at, that's where I'll teach too. If I haven't done it, I'm not gonna do it. But why do all these guys go to Leanscaper, previously LMN with Mark, why do they go to ACE peer groups with Marty? Why do they go to McFarland? I don't even know how to spell McFarland. Oh boy, McFarland Stanford. There's a bunch of groups out there, a bunch of great groups out there, and many, many more. Why are all these guys from a $3 million to $10 million business spending so much time at these events? Because they're trying to figure out how to get their business solidified and their proof of concept duplicated. They understand how to grow routes and crews. They have 1, 2, 3 crews. Now they're trying to build a system that automates 5, 10, 15 crews going out. And every single thing that was working here and even working here, you have to now build a system, which, holy cow, that sounds easier said than done. You have to build a system that automates as many of these as you can. And so you're learning about shops, facilities, lean, workflow, automation, eliminate, automate, delegate, prioritize. You're learning about scoreboards. You're learning about metrics. You're learning about quantifying what good looks like. You're learning about a feedback loop about here's your job description, here's the activities, here's the role, here's the result, here's what good looks like. If you don't do it, let's have an action plan. If you can't fix the action plan, or was it you or was it me? Let's figure that out together. Let's have a closed loop. Let's keep that intact with the big mission in the middle, right? Explaining how your role feeds into a team of 20, 30, 50, 100 guys, what that role means into the mothership, and how that together moves the whole canoe forward, and you can oroform like the best of us. Terrible, terrible. You pay for this. No, you don't pay for this. This is a free video. Let me make sure the video is still recording. Okay? Wildly different concept. Why do you see none of these guys making content? None of these guys making YouTube videos. None of these guys have podcasts because they're busy building their business, for sure. But every single thing that they just learned, for the most part, and I'm just being super hypothetical here, but every single thing that these guys will tell you, it's all wet paint. Like, yeah, we tried that, it didn't work. We did this, it did work. We tried that, yeah, don't do that. I was talking to one guy, he's like, yeah, we do gas trucks instead of diesels. Okay, figuring out their proof of concept. Another guy, yeah, we went from X marks to Gravely's to Skaggs. We're just trying to figure it all out because we're trying to run the business as profitably as possible. It's not so much about quality of cut as much for us as running a lean business, making financial sense. Awesome. Then, 6 months later, they go, yeah, we tried that. We realized cut quality was suffering. We had double cuts. We were burning more on labor, more time on cost. It was actually costing more money by not having the best equipment than by going with the cheaper equipment. So there's a lot of like, try this, I don't know, try this, I don't know, try this, I don't know. And again, I envy all these guys that have great businesses. I'm not trying to speak out of line here. I would love to be here. We're gonna be here one day. But they're like, yeah, we tried that payroll company, we tried this, we tried that, we tried this, we tried that. They're learning. There's so many questions at this age and at this stage in business, and there's nobody making content like this. So you have to go chase down Stephen Wheatcroft and Troy Clogg and the Corey Ballards and the Matt Bowmans and the Jason Cromleys and all these big dog fish that I like. The fact that even these guys even know my name is a miracle, but that's why all these guys are just trying to hone this in. Those guys are making conferences and events and maybe some podcasts, but it's all basically pay to play. Like they're not super focused on here. That's where your boy's at. And why do they like hanging with me and I like hanging with them? Because I take what these guys are teaching and learning, I try to break it down for the small fish like me. Right? I'm a small fish. I'm trying to learn how to grow. And, how to eat an elephant, one bite at a time, right? Nobody's wrong here. Nobody's wrong here. Most of these guys have it figured out, but they're not gonna go make videos. Like most of them are too busy, or they've made enough money they don't have to, or they sold and they're just not as engaged anymore. They'll help, but they're not like on mission to like change the world. They are, but not like maybe me, where I'm like, oh my God, this is breath of fresh air. This is my daughter's, ballet outfit. This is my son's, soccer fund. My wife's new Ford Expedition money. Okay. Like I need to make money. They've made their money. They're happy. Okay. And again, these are all amazing, incredible people. If anybody's I went to a Leanscaper event. I had 50 people out of the 400 say, dude, love your videos, love the shop tours, thank you. Oh my God, like this is all awesome content. I'm like, dude, thank you for consuming it. Thanks for telling me it was awesome. That makes me feel good. It makes me feel on mission. It makes me feel good. And then everybody's like, hey, you should come to our shop. You come to our place. Hey, we have a new branch. Hey, we have a new facility. Josh Gomez with East Coast. He's like, dude, next year, let's do it. I'm like, this is incredible. Why? Because they have 2, 5, 10, 100 freaking crews going out. And who couldn't learn that? Right? Who couldn't learn and take what they're optimizing 50 crews with? How could we not optimize our one crew? All right, let me do this really quick. I've got some more I wrote down. All right, let me just erase all this. Is this helpful? I hope it's helpful. Just be careful who you listen to on the internet. I did a pricing video yesterday. If you missed it, please go back to it. Let's take it from the top and I'll wrap this thing up. When you're at 0 to 300K, you have systems. You don't have them usually written down. You don't have them really documented, but they do exist in your brain. And you get to 300K and you're like, dude, I got this thing licked. Okay, sure. I thought that too. And again, 1s and 3s, 3s and 1s, right? So on and so forth. Here's the thing I'll just tell you really quick. And it kind of broke my heart a little bit because about 2-3 months ago, I had a couple people commenting randomly, like on random videos, like 3 comments came in like a 3-week window, which was, you've changed and I miss the old Brian and I miss the old content and you're a guru now and you think you know what you're talking about. Like, dude, trust me, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I am learning so much so quick, it's not even funny. I'm trying, but we miss mowing vlogs. We miss Liz being in the videos. And I'm like, dude, I did 1,100 videos in 8 years. We missed the old Roman Atwood. Bro, me too. We missed Shaytards. Dude, I get it. I did 1,100 videos in 8 years. If you miss me, just go back to my old videos. I have enough content there for probably you watching a video every day for 3 years, okay? If you like my old stuff, then buy my old album, okay? Jay-Z. I have been here for about a year, and I've made, let's say, 50 to 70 videos, and no doubt about 100 podcasts in the last 12 months. A lot of you guys that are part of the podcast ethos realize that the podcast is where my most forward-thinking, frontal thinking, visionary thinking, best thought process, permeating content goes. It's the easiest channel right now. To make a video like this, it's just so hard to quantify things on a whiteboard. It just really is. You have to, how do you quantify going to Leanscaper? How do you quantify figuring out a system that changes in your business and make a YouTube video about it? Because I go, hey, what worked for fuel over here was me and my guys with credit cards at the gas pump because I was always on the rig. And then here it got a little bit more tough because I wasn't in the field every single day, but we still made it work with mowing and we still used my credit card. But then you go here and you're not in the field as much, or you have a foreman that calls off. Who's got a company credit card? Who's got a fuel card? How do we get fuel in the mowers? The problems from here to here are wildly different. And again, you mastered this. You're a content creator or somebody and you got a big business. So you know, 300 grand, you think you did big business. You made 80 grand, right? You're like, dude, I know what I'm talking about. You probably do, brother. But this moving to here is so different. It's insane. My first book was like 84 pages. It might as well have been a flip book that you could color in. It's wrote 100K on Amazon. Okay, it's like 20 bucks. Same thing for the next book, 100K to 300K. Hope to have it out by fall. This one will probably be a 300-page novel because every single thing that worked here kind of works here, but every single system has broken. So then I do a video saying, hey, Coast fuel cards. I haven't done this. I'm sure we'll get a sponsorship. Who knows? Who cares? Don't even care. But Coast fuel cards. We're using fuel cards, fuel credit cards. I get them here and I make a video saying, hey, you should check out fuel credit cards in Coast. And people go, dude, you're a sellout. You're making videos to make a buck. They just make money off you on the gas card. Like, dude, it's just the viewer, right, wants different things here than some of you guys here, which is where my podcast is. That's why my podcast numbers are huge. In fact, my YouTube channel, let me just, we'll get into some more stuff here as I'm on a little bit of a roll. My YouTube views at 100K subs was running 1 to 2 million views a month at 100K subs. I'm at 250K subs almost. My average channel views right now are 500 to 700K views per month. So the channel's 2.5 times the size with half the views. If it's 2.5x times the size, I should be running 4 to 8 million views. So the next time somebody says, Fullerton, you're a sellout, Fullerton, you're just promoting shit, you gotta realize this right here, if I kept my content right here, 4 to 5 million views a month on YouTube at 2K per 1K or 2K per million is $10,000 to $20,000 a month in AdSense. So people who make mowing tall grass vlogs or daily vlogs or every single day there's a video, this is their business model on YouTube. And that's fine, that's awesome, good for them. Like, dude, get the bag, bro. Every time I make a video like this that gets 1,100 views, what do you think it does to the algorithm? Tanks my videos, tanks my channel. Am I a saint? Am I a martyr? I don't know. I'm not here for that. But I'm just saying, if I, an all content creator, stayed here, had a little soft promotion for a couple products or affiliates, and then got the views. Couple affiliates, got the views. Dude, you can make 20 to 100K on social in 24 months, pursuing brand deals, getting sponsorships, hey, use Jobber, the whole freaking deal. Shout out to my Jobber people, love Jobber, nothing against Jobber. But you could easily run an 80 grand business, 100 grand social, make 150 grand a year net, and you're like, dude, I am God's gift to the world about business and content. All while running a small business, lifestyle business. Lifestyle, and you've heard this term before in the industry lately. This is your lifestyle business era to about 5 million, as I see it. You can buy a boat, a car, a plane. Sam Rankin's got a plane running 5 million. Sam's awesome, had some great success, bought a plane. Shout out to my boy Sam. I want a plane. I'm not there yet. You have a lifestyle business. You can kind of come as you go. You got some team, some system, some this, some that. You're committed to the business, but you don't have to be overly committed to the business. You're not Yellowstone where people's heads are gonna roll if you don't make numbers or, all that mess. Lifestyle business, run your social, run a podcast on the side, keep a good work-life balance, so on and so forth, right? Not too bad. Every time I make videos now and podcasts now for this group, because I'd much rather go deeper with a few than shallow with wide. I want to actually teach people how to fish. My views tank, everything tanks, except for your guys' businesses 6, 12, 18, 24 months later all seem to grow. There's so many of you guys that got started with me. We're all doing 100, 200 grand. And I have so many peers, I can name names, hundreds of them, thousands of them, hundreds of them by first name, definitely a link, that have all went from 50, 80, 100 to 3, 4, 5 to 8, 9s, and 10s, myself included, part of this group. All my content right now is for this section. I haven't done 1 million, I'm not at 3, nothing like that. Mark Bradley brought me on tour with LMN last fall. He didn't say, hey man, tell them how to run a $5 million company. He's like, hey, talk about marketing and branding, because that's what's most important right now for you, building an active sales pipeline and process to take your business from 300, 500-ish grand to 1 million and 3 million and beyond. We need to build a sales pipeline, a sales funnel. We need to start figuring out who your ideal customer is. We need to start figuring out our numbers. We need to get proof of concept. Well, this guy says this. Yeah, well, that guy's different than where you're at. Okay? If you take this and this thought process into here, you will get smoked. Let me write this down really quick. I've got things that are different conversation now, right? Cycle CPA. People like, you're selling out. You're promoting bookkeepers. Yes, you kind of need bookkeepers here for compliance, but you don't really, cycle and a bookkeeper is not just for compliance for a tax return. Let me make sure the video is still recording here. It's not just for compliance, it's for budgeting, projections, cash flow, balance sheet, getting your stuff documented so you can go to a community bank and get a line of credit. You cannot do that with good tax returns and not have good books. Cycle CPA, kind of worked here. You don't need a bookkeeper necessarily here. You should, definitely at 100K. But like, you go here, broken system. Now you need cycle. Fuel cards. We're using a company called Coast. We're about a month in with them. They've been amazing, great folks. Fuel cards, you're on the crew, you're on the rig. I talked about this. You have the company credit card, you fill up, no big deal. What if you can't make it in? What if your guy can't make it in? Who's got a company fuel card? Who's filling up the mowers in the truck that day? Good system here is you have the company credit card, you're in the route. You're not in the route anymore, broken system. You need fuel cards. LMN. I did a pricing video yesterday, it was 45 minutes. Here, you're just literally guessing. Here you're just trying to make it work. Here you're trying to maximize. Here every year you're growing the top 10%, you're cutting out the bottom 10%. You get rid of slow payers, you get rid of non-payers, you get card on file. You're like, dude, this works. Until you actually have to bid and price competitively on luxury outdoor living spaces, commercial sites, and residential mows. And scale it with crews doing the work, not you. You are no longer in the field, right? For the most part, most likely. So everything changes. Here, people are like, I made $80,000 on my business last year. Well, how much did you pay yourself a salary? Well, nothing. I had $80,000 left over. Okay. I'd rather you say you had a 40 grand a year salary and 40 grand profit than just saying you made 80,000 bucks. So really you had 40 grand profit on a 400 grand business, 10%, still not too bad. But the language changes here. LMN, you have to learn how to price. You have to know what production rates are. You need to learn how to use crew. Before you had your checklist or you logged into the app. Now you have to rely on team members punching in work orders and timesheets which generate invoices. That's wildly different. Here, you did card on file. Okay? Here, yeah, we do card on file, but we now bill EOW. Anybody know what that means? Thank you. End of week, cash flow. Is my cash flow hurting in any of these parts? Most likely, yes, as you're growing CapEx and also just covering your operational expenses. You're billing end of week now. At least that's what we're doing. That's how fast hot potato is, that we need our cash because we're in a growth curve with new equipment and of course funding the work that we're doing, materials and labor. Card on file, broken system. Now you have to bill end of week. Payroll. Payroll does not start with an R. So this is just proof that if I can do this, you can do this. Oh my God. Payroll. We have a partnership with Gusto. Use our link, whatever, or don't, I don't care. Gusto, here, you just pay your people cash money. Take it over into the 99, into the 2000. Yes, I come from a trailer. Yes, I come from the, the hood of Milford, Michigan, okay? What used to be cash money or Venmo your guys or Zelle your guys or cash money your guys, or maybe you even use payroll with a little service or a local small town person, broken system. You need Gusto, you need transparent reporting, you need 941s, especially if you start borrowing money. You need to have the way to reimburse your team. You need to have ways to authorize them for different reports that they need to have access to. You need to have a portal so there's transparency so nobody's rebuttaling against you with hours and you're having a state labor department issue and claim about nonsense because there's no transparency, which could all happen here. Now, use Gusto, right? Now you have maybe an office admin running payroll, right? So on and so forth. Let me make sure the video is still recording. Okay, I know this is a lengthy video, forgive me. Now you start asking for lines of credit. You gotta pre-buy your salt. You gotta get payroll going in the spring and material costs. You gotta go put 1,500 yards, 15,000 yards of mulch down. You gotta go buy loaders and trucks and ridiculousness to grow. You need lines of credit. You didn't need a line of credit here. You just cash flowed the business, but now you wanna grow and growth takes cash. So you can either be very profitable or sink it all back into your business. What's the upside for my wife and I right now to grow a bigger business? You know, company equity. Enterprise value, yeah, I'll make a higher wage just like all my guys will, but every single dollar, we talked about that video in the spring, if you missed it, it was a goodie based on all your guys' feedback. Welcome to my masterclass series now. Profits for who? Profits for growth, not for the owner, profits for growth. Anything over 15%, take a little stipend for you. Anything 15% or less, you need to reinvest into the future year's growth. That cash to 1 to 3, that profit to 3 to 10, that profit to 10 to 30, and then you're still gonna have to borrow along the way. Let me keep going. Branding. Your brand has to change. Here, Little Lawn Boy, LLB. That was me, Little Lawn Boy, Little Brian's All Maintenance, our little shield, little crest. It was fine, it was awesome, good little business. Timmy's Lawn Care. Timmy's Lawn Care, this works. Timmy's Lawn Care can still work here forever, don't get me wrong. There's Jim's Mowing, they do billions of dollars with Jim's Mowing, okay? But here's the deal. What sounds more professional, Little Lawn Boy or LB Outdoor Services? Lawn Boy Outdoor Services, right? You change your name, you kind of clean it up, you're realigned a little bit. Commercial property manager, who do you think they're picking? LB Outdoor Services or Little Lawn Boy? I'm being funny, I'm being facetious, right? Your branding has to change, your marketing has to change, your spend, right? You get over here, you get 80 accounts, you get 80 accounts and 5 commercial, and you think you're salesman of the world because you maxed out a route. As you grow what you've done, it took you 10 years to get here, as you try to grow this per year, if you think you're gonna organically get 80 to 100 accounts and a half dozen commercial, and you're just gonna just have this come to you, dude, it doesn't work, broken system. Now you have to spend money, postcards, yard signs, marketing, advertising, paid clicks, et cetera, forever this far. I was listening to Jason Cromley at Leanscaper, he's like, we do 25 million, I forget his number, but it was like, dude, like you're gonna spend like 300 grand or $1 million on marketing and advertising this year to get 25 million back into the door the following year as a design build outdoor luxury living space company. You do have to spend. Here you're like, I don't spend any money, word of mouth, I've got great branding as Little Lawn Boy. Okay, of course you do. You have to spend money here. Broken system, branding. I just spent $35,000 rebranding Brian's Lawn Maintenance. You're like, that's a lot of money. Jason at $25 million spent $1 million rebranding his trucks and trailers. When I went down there last year spring for the shop tour, everything went from the white and green to the dark green and white. $1 million to rebrand a $25 million company. Making the investment for them to take their business to a $30 million company. Your videos, your photos, let's just say digital assets. Digital, your photos plus videos. You guys have seen a lot of our content come out later with different marketing and branding and videos and messaging, right? Let me make sure that the video is still recording audio because I can't see the screen on this camera. I spent probably $6,000 to $7,000 on new videos and photos. I know I spent $6,000 to $7,000 on a new website already. That's $15,000. 35 grand into branding and 15 grand here. I spent $50,000 getting Brian's Lawn Maintenance to look like it does today so I can compete, have a chance in the world to compete and get a phone call and have a chance to compete against Atlas or TCLA or Case or United or DJs that are in my market. I wouldn't spend $50,000 if I didn't think I was going to go to 1, 3, 5, 10, 20 million. I'd rather keep 50 grand, keep 35 for me and pay out 5 grand to my top 3 guys as right hands and crew leads, and we all just stay small and keep it all. So on a previous video, when people are like talking about pricing, they're like, oh, no, everybody's different. I'm like, this is what you should do. And I'm like, you don't know our sales strategy. You don't know our sales process. You don't know I'm spending 50 grand to get us to 2, 3, 4, 5 million. You don't know that I'm going to run $1,000 a month on postcards going forward to get a marketing and branding strategy. I am refreshing a truck to do this. I am refreshing dump trailers and wraps and the loader. People like $1,500 on dirty graphics for a Bobcat L28 for the loader with the dirty graphics wrap and labor. Yeah, $1,500 for branding. So when somebody goes down the road, not only they see cool company, cool loader, that guy cares. It's got our website written all over it. You can follow who that guy is. You got a generic Bobcat, I've got one wrapped. Believe it or not, clientele that are, doing big business, they want to go with the guy who cares, that looks good, that looks sexy, that do fact. You're like, well, I pull up in a 1980 square box, whatever, and we do just as good of work. That's fine, dude. You're missing phone calls. You don't even know it. You have a $500,000 a year hardscaping business. I'm not here to argue with you about your system that's a proof of concept working for you here. It doesn't work here. I don't have all the time in the world to convince people that this is where they need to be. And then I get called a sellout. I get called stupid. I get called, a social media influencer. I get called every single name in the book. While we grew 15 to 25% last year, we're already growing another 15 to 25% this year. We're going to grow 15 to 25% year over year over year. Let that internal rate of return compound or growth rate compound, and we'll be at 10 million in 5 years. And then I get just ran through, people just say, you're all these things. And I'm like, do you not understand that we have a real business here? Like we have like a Q1 was 2x up last year and 4x up the year before that. Our Q2, same thing, 15 to 17% growth, 15 to 17% net. What's your business looking like? Peel back the books. I'd love to see for every single person that criticizes me, I want to know what their revenue growth was, their profit was, how much cash they have in the bank. I want to know what they paid their frontline guys, because I guarantee you I pay all my guys more than you. And I'd love to see in the macro of your finances, how your finances for your family are doing compared to what we're doing. Dude, you're not even in the game, but I spend all day, I don't do this anymore, but I used to spend all day arguing with the internet. People are like, oh, he bought a 2017 Lariat F250 truck. He doesn't know what he's doing. Somebody made a video on that about me. The only difference in that video from my business to that guy's business is that I was buying a nicer truck because I was living in the truck because I was an owner-operator. It took me 3 seconds to mentally pivot to buy an XL and downgrade that truck to an XL STX fleet truck to have a proof of concept back when we're growing crews in 3 seconds or less. I didn't have to change almost any of the other thought process other than the truck, and now we got a proof of concept to have 25 crews looking like the proof of concept of the first crew that we built out. Took 2 seconds to change. You're not gonna be able to throw me under the bus and convince people that we don't know what we're doing or what we're talking about. And I say that humbly, and I say that with all humility, that we're learning how to redo all this and grow together, okay? Trucks, dump trailers. Why do we have dump trailers versus, or dump inserts versus dump trailer? Oh, one crew, one rig going out, I need a dump insert. Now we can have a dump trailer with a leaf box because we have multiple crews going out, multiple trucks going out, and the concept has changed, okay? Oh, another couple, team meetings. People are like, you don't need to have team meetings. They're a waste of time, they're a waste of money. I'm gonna have another video come out here in about a week or so talking about napkin math. I'm gonna go through 10 things that you think, that I argue all day with the internet with, 10 things that you think make sense to this business, and it does. But you get here and the napkin math, like a simple, like 1 + 1 = 2, I don't have to bring out a calculator. I will show you 10 different things I have going on that if you make the investment from a blade grinder, angle grinder to an RBG to a Magnamatic, napkin math, how many hours it exactly takes for those lines to cross to make sure that you understand that that investment is a net positive and how quick and how fast, and especially as you have it forever and it scales and it grows. I have 10 different topics that I picked on napkin math. I already wrote this all out, sitting in my massage chair the other night for an hour and a half. I'm crazy, this is what I do, all right? Let me make sure that this is still recording. All right, let's just get this thing close to wrapping up. I'll napkin math and show you how every single thing we're doing here makes sense. By the way, I'm reverse engineering what all of these guys, I'd say 3 to 10, but you know, let's be fair, it's usually the guys doing 10 million plus. I'm reverse engineering all this thought process, walking around like, holy cow, look at all this stuff going on at these places. Marty Grunder's like, we have our big bins, it's a 20 or 30 yard bin, but we get the smashing compactor roller. He goes, that's $300, but a bin's $600, but I can get 3 times the amount of trash in there by having the roller come through to condense it, to compact it. And it's actually 1 bin a month times 12 bins a year. Saves us $3,000 by spending $1,200. It's a $2,500 net profit wash for the company by investing in that service. And then I do a video or a podcast talking about your personal life. I have a talk at Sam Gimbel's event coming up, talking about your personal life, PL. And I talk about getting dog walkers, you know, pet waste, laundry services, DoorDash, you know, all these different things about how you can automate, delegate, or eliminate, right? All these things in your personal life so you can spend more time doing things that pay you $100 to $500 per hour in your business. So I don't come home and do my laundry. I don't come home and cook all the time. We don't wash our freaking clothes. We don't take the dog out. My litter back in the day for my cat was automated. Every single thing, I had to automate my life because when doing this and I was doing it all, plus social doing it all, I had money, but I had no time. And so then I just spent the last 2 years getting all my freaking time back. And then people say, well, it must be nice to travel around the country. To do all this and to be able to have fun and have time flexibility. Last year, Fullerton's all fired up. He's got to prove something today. Last year, I spent $400,000 running my social media business to make content for you guys. That's not what we made. That's not what I kept. That wasn't the gross. This was my cost. 400 grand, $400,000. When you're 0 to 100K or you got like a decent little business going on and you're creating content on social, it's so easy to make 20 to 50 grand on the side, right? With your social media. It's not even funny. Get a couple affiliate links, get a couple brands. By the way, I had people reaching out, you're a sellout. 19 out of 20 brands I pursued. Nobody gave me a thing. Never once. 1 in 20, they'll come to me and say, hey, we got a product or a service. 19 out of 20 brands that I've promoted, I've already used their product before, easy. 1 in 20, I'm like, hey, if the check's big enough and it's a fair product, I'll talk about it. And so would you. 19 out of 20 brands I've already used, and I pursued them. They never pursued me. I have other content creators. He gets all the content, brand deals. He gets all the sponsorships. That guy's a sellout because they didn't get the deal. All this stuff. I go, dude, I ran this business more than I ran this business for the last 5 years, right? That's why my social media grew. Shocker. Now I want to grow this business because I like to have 2 oars in the water making some good income. Like, duh. And not only that, my people are incredible. I love my guys to death. I love them more than they love themselves. I cannot say how much I love my guys, Mark, Rob, Jake, Bronson, Ryan, all the guys and kids that have worked for me, past, present, and future. Like, I love my people. I want to see them get homes, nice cars, 401ks. Why do you think I'm trying to grow a larger business? So I can make more money? Folks, obviously we've made some money along the way, but I need to make sure that these guys not only make good money, they make great money. I want all my guys making 60, 80, 100 grand a year tomorrow. That's why we're growing. That's why we're building systems. That's why we're getting into different work. That's why we understand our numbers, our revenue per hour. Out of revenue per hour, we can pay higher wages. That's why the scope of work and the type of work we're doing is pivoting. That's why we're getting into bigger snow. Maybe higher gross and higher net. We're gonna be a snow company in 5 years that does lawns, not a lawn company in 5 years that does snow. That's the whole ball of wax. I spent 400 grand building out systems and content to bring you guys these whiteboard videos and podcasts and all this wild stuff and go on tour. It cost me 12 grand to go hang out with Mark Bradley as Brandon Bull. And then somebody's gonna say, somebody on the internet, and I'll never prove them all wrong, I'll never prove them all right, doesn't matter. But then they say you're the sellout. And I wrestled with this for a long time. Like, am I a sellout? Am I really a sellout? I'm like, man, if I had more brands investing more money into creating more content, dude, I could bring you even more content more often. If I grew my business and had higher wages and automated more of this with my team, I would be getting more time back, and then I can make more content, and it's this huge flywheel thing that starts to happen. Make sense? All right, a lot of words, there's a lot of things. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, team meetings, we have a new cadence of meetings, paid marketing versus SEO. Dude, there's thousands of things here. On-site fuel, ice maker, interpreter, tech enabler, different types of people that are gonna come into your business. The structure of a business, right? All these different things change drastically and dramatically. Let me do this really quick. If you guys are watching my content, where are we at? We are here. Okay, we are between the 300K to $1 million business. I am doing everything I can to show you guys what's working at this level. This builds the floor, a proof of concept, PC, proof of concept, for us to start duplicating and replicating this to do 3, 10, 30, 10, 20, 30 million, okay? My goal is 10 million in the next 5 years. Let's work backwards from what these guys have taught and what these guys have done. I point all day to these guys, the Jason Cromleys, the Mark Bradleys, the Troy Clogs, the Sam Gimbals, the Matt Bowmans, the Corey Ballards, the Leroy Mains, the Sam Rankins, the Alpha with Riley with Alpha Landscapes. All these great kids and guys that have been on my, and I call them kids, I mean, they're younger than me, it's wild. Some of you guys that are 18, 19, 20, 21, I don't even know your name yet. If you got a great business, shoot me an email. I'll come hang out with you for the day. We'll do a shop tour if you would even let us all in, because I totally respect what these guys have all built. This is where my content is. I have no problem with running, remember the view count. I have no problem taking a hit on my AdSense, taking a hit on views, taking a hit on making social media money, if I'm gonna grow my landscape company and win this way with you guys together, teaching you what's working for us, not only on YouTube, but the podcast. You will not see a mowing vlog every single day. In fact, if we're still making mow vlogs, the same mow vlogs for 5 years, does that sound like my content or my business has evolved or changed? Probably not. It's just like, well, I should, you don't mow anymore. I shouldn't be mowing. I should be doing this and hiring people that build this while giving my guys opportunities so they can also get off the mowers and be managers and beyond. This is where my company's at. Here's a little inside baseball. My views, if my views are down, but the products, I guess I don't really have a better way of saying it, but the products you guys buy changes and it goes up. If I make money with you guys going to Cycle, Coast if we have an affiliate link, Element if you guys use our code, Gusto if you sign up there, Attentive, I'm gonna write them down because they're huge. They're a huge part of my business right now. Attentive AI, if I make a commission off of that, you guys go with Brandon Bull and I get a kickback, or I have a stake in that company so I make a little bit. I'll still make the same or more money with YouTube, but now you guys actually are winning with your business in the next stage. And I'm winning in my business in the next video or the next stage. I don't need views to pay me as long as you guys don't mind reciprocating to keep this damn machine moving, because all of this costs so much money. We have payroll for people that make a lot of money. Our gal Bethany, she's awesome. Without Bethany, most of this stuff wouldn't continue to run the way it does. Real salaries, real wages, real business, social media. If you want to stay small, keep it all, social media with a small business and make 20 grand on the side with affiliates and jobber, like, dude, awesome. I hope you do, and I hope it takes you out of debt and buys you a new family car. Like, dude, I'm your guy. I'm happy for you. Like, hear me. But I will personally take less views, greater impact, help give you guys turnkey everything here. Will all businesses start looking the same? We'll all use Chat, all use Cycle, ChatGPT, all use Cycle, all use Coast. I don't know. I am just telling you that all the big guys, they all use like the same 20 services. They're all using Element or Aspire. They're all using Fleetio. They're all using QuickBooks. They're all using Gusto. They're all using the same fuel vendors across the country, okay? They're all using the same trucks, the same trailers, the same mowers. They're just, one company's green, the next company's blue, the next company's red, the next company's yellow. What I'm gonna spend the next however many years doing content, because I don't know if it's a forever thing, but what I'm gonna do for the next couple of years is give as much of this away as possible. I do not have it all figured out. I will tell you straight up, I'm learning every single day. What I will tell you is that when I found Mark Bradley, Mark didn't teach me almost any of this stuff, just so we're super clear. Mark Bradley taught me how to think and continues to teach me how to think and how to look at things and have a different perspective. Same thing Mike Bedell did. Mike Bedell just gave me a lobotomy, asking a couple questions. I'm like, Mike, I can't afford that. He goes, afford? He goes, you're not paying for that. Your clients are paying for that. I'm like, I never would have thought about that. Mark's taught me how to think. He's got me around great people. I've asked them questions, distilled down what they're doing. We've backfilled. We're building the system. If we build the system, then we can start scaling the company. And I hope to make you guys proud. I hope to make my guys proud, my wife proud, my kids proud, you guys proud, the industry proud. Will we do it? That is still out to be determined. Right now, everything I wrote down, humbly put, is all theory. We're doing this, but this is all theory for here to get to there. But I'm feeling pretty bullish. I'm feeling pretty excited. As long as nobody drops a nuclear bomb, the zombies don't come, or World War III doesn't happen, or the 2030 depression just chills out for a little bit, then maybe we'll get there. I've got great guys. They love me. I love them. We got great culture. We're building our SOPs. I've done more SOPs and more documenting the freaking business. Let me write down another one really quick here. Greenius. Greenius is going to be with LMN training videos because we need to get people. We need a people pipeline. I'm going to be building out about 100 Greenius videos here in the next 90 days. That's my Q3 project. 100 SOP videos on every single thing we do. Eventually we'll have those available at the Lawntrepreneur Academy for you to buy. And I'll make it available for $5,000, and I'll have all these people say I'm a sellout, and then the guys going from 300 to 5 million will go, $5,000 to have 100 training videos? Do you take cash credit or Bitcoin? I go, yeah, exactly, brother. Because it'll cost me $20,000 to build them, and I can hyperscale, make it available on Lawntrepreneur Academy. You pay a fraction, I make some money, you make some money while obviously growing your business, and we all win. To the guy doing $100,000 who's still sharpening his lawnmower blades with an angle grinder, he's gonna call me a sellout. And when you and I, you watch this video, you and I, with our families, are at Banff, or we're at Park City, Utah, because we got 38 team members. Our business is gonna do 3.6 million that year, 11% true net. You're gonna make $300,000 and you had $150,000 owner salary. You're gonna do a big profit share that year because you guys are stable. All your guys are gonna get $5,000 bonuses. You're still gonna have $100,000 left over in profit, $200,000 left over in profit. You're gonna make $500,000 that year. You're gonna not only buy your dream home or pay cash for your dream home, you're gonna upgrade the wife to an Escalade. You're gonna have your best year ever, your best life ever. You're gonna pay for your kids' private education cash. You and I are gonna go talk, and you're gonna tell me all these stories. You're gonna tell me all these stories about how this stupid video changed your life 5 years ago and how it got you there. And I'm gonna say, willing to sell out for you, bro. Willing to sell out for you. And I'm there drinking a non-alcoholic beverage, drinking my Alani, right? Just like you guys. And you're gonna go, man, I just didn't know what I didn't know. In fact, Brian, I liked your content, then I thought you were an a-hole, And then I came back to your content, saw what you grew and what you're doing, and inspired me to grow and do the same thing. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, it's tough. Yes, you're going to lose money. Yes, you're going to have people backstab you. But I did it. We did it. We grew a $3.5 million company. That's your off-ramp. You have a great business there. Maybe you decide to sell. You know what to sell it for now because you went to Leanscaper events, heard Mark Bradley actually break down what your company's worth. You sold it for $15 million at 5%. You're living off, $750,000 worth of interest for the rest of your life. Or you ESOPed it, or you sold it to your kids, and you're set. You did something great. You changed the community. You paid frontline wages, frontline livable wages, and we changed this industry together. And when I heard Mark Bradley talk about that 18 months ago, I came back from an event and Liz goes, "Hey, what'd you think about LMN?" I go, I was there for 2 days and LMN was talked about for like an hour. But man, let me tell you about this guy, Mark. I think he's doing what we're doing and I want to do what he's doing. In fact, he's done it, but I want to do what he's doing. She goes, "Really?" I go, "Yeah." I just threw up on her for the next 2 hours probably, right? Like we all do when we come back from conferences. Here's where we're at. Here's where the content's at. If it's not for you, I'm sorry. If you want mowing videos, there's tons of great people doing stuff like this and they make great videos. I love those people. They're awesome. They're friends, peers, frenemies, all the above, okay? Some people hate me so much. I've never done a single thing to that person. If I saw them in person tomorrow at a Quip Expo, I'd shake their hand and say, "Dude, you're an awesome content creator. Proud of you, bro." Like, I've got nothing against anybody other than this group not taking perhaps a little bit more responsibility for the content you're putting out. What you think makes sense here does make sense, but you're going to screw up people over here. Maybe your content is here and it's for the guy here. That's fine. But if you're a consumer watching content, look at where that guy's business is at. Look at what he's making. Look at where his sources of income come from. Look at what his crew size is. Look at where he's talking about going. Most content creators are not talking about growing a big business. They're happy where they're at. They're just recycling content. There's nothing wrong with that. But if they're on the grow, listen. If they're flat, listen, and then, okay, cool. Thanks for the daily motivation. Thanks for the daily podcast. Love ya. But just be a wise consumer of information that's out there. So we're gonna leave it. I love everyone. I'm not here to throw elbows, throw shoulders, talk trash, start wars. Nothing, folks. Please just hear me. We're all in this together. Wherever you're at, I love you with where you're at. I love you no matter what you decide to do. Please give me the grace to talk about this kind of stuff freely and let you guys know at least where I hope to go with my guys in my company, okay? Are we gonna do it? I believe we will. If not, we'll have a really good YouTube video and a really good YouTube channel to document our flaming failure, right? One of those deals, or a flaming success. And if we get a big shop and it looks awesome like Marty Grunder, and we'll do field trips and we'll bring all of you guys in and you all say, "Oh, we always knew you would do it." And then I'll have some hater who was like, "No, dude, I hate you. I would never tell it to your face, but I'm on the field trip and I'm on the tour and I kind of like this guy. He's a little squirrely, but I like him." No problem, bro. We'll take you too, okay? Give me some grace, I'll give you some grace. We'll all win together. All right, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. If you missed the pricing video yesterday, I did another video just like this yesterday, talking about pricing. Today is about who are you listening to. Tomorrow, I've got another video talking about LMN pricing. Don't miss it. If you're using LMN, rock and roll. If you guys can just do me a big solid, if you need any help with any of this, ask who we're using. I'm sure we have a code for everybody. It does put a couple bucks in the bank, and this is what allows me to keep my wife to be a stay-at-home mom and to raise our 3 children and put our values into her and into those kids. I really do appreciate that. Thank you for the support. If you are struggling with any of this, go to lawntrepreneur.academy.com. If you can't afford something, email me. I'll give it to you for free. For real. I just challenge you with, if it helps you, then you pay it forward to somebody else, okay? Lawntrepreneur.academy.com, we've got courses and resources on so much of this middle, okay? And we're gonna have, of course, more stuff as we continue to evolve and to continue to grow. I'm just giving it away, shoestring budget. It's ridiculous. It's such a great thing that we have going on here, all right? That's what I got for you guys today. I love you. I appreciate you. Over and out. Have a great day. We'll catch up with all you guys out here on the next one.